Dear brothers and sisters, أحييكم تحية الإسلام. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. As Brother Nabil sent to the brothers that if there is any question, you can raise your hand and you ask any question you want to ask about it. جزاكم الله خيرا.
Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Alaikum assalam warahmatullahi
wabarakatuh. Shaykh, I have one question. I recently read one hadith talking about this Sahabi Sa'd ibn Mu'adh radiallahu anhu, where the hadith mentioned that
Brother, could I just ask you, what's the name of the companion?
Sa'd ibn Mu'adh.
Sa'd ibn Mu'adh.
Yes.
Zain. Okay.
The hadith mentioned that upon his death, the arish of Allah shook. And then
upon whose death, dear brother?
Upon the Sahabi's death.
على موت هذا الصحابي شيخنا سعد بن معاذ. Yes, continue.
And then the grave squeezed him once. So the question.
القبر له ضيق. Yes, go ahead, brother.
Yeah, the question is, how do you understand the hadith mentioning the arish shook?
كان تزحزحت الأرض.
Yeah, I know.
وصارت ضيق.
So what is the question?
شلون نفهم هذا أن تزحزحت الأرض؟ هذا. Do you mean, brother, is it in real? Did the earth shake, or what's the question exactly?
The arish of Allah shook.
اهتزاز العرش هو من باب الاستبشار والسرور لقدوم سعد رضي الله عنه وأرضاه.
The Shaykh mentioned, Hafidhahullah, that the shaking of Allah's arsh is to give bushara or to give glad tidings, and the state of happiness regarding the death of Sa'd ibn Mu'adh.
ولكن
but
لا يقال كيف اهتز، نقول اهتز العرش ونعلم معنى الاهتزاز، أما الكيفية والتمثيل والمشابهة فهذا أمر ليس من هدي أهل السنة.
So as for the occurrence of the shaking of Allah's arsh, then this is something we believe in it. As for how did it happen, or how do we relate it with something else, or we try and, or how kayfa, how did it happen? So we don't, this is not from the guidance of Ahl Sunnah.
Naam, Jazakallah khair, Shaykh.
You want to mute yourself again, Ali, and I'll see anyone else who has a question. Brother Irshad, I have unmuted you if you want to ask a question.
Yeah. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullah. I have two questions. First of which is that we will be traveling during the month of Ramadan to India, and on that day we are planning to skip the fast and then continue fasting in India whilst we are there during Ramadan. And as we've seen in the past as well, places like India and in the subcontinent, they are usually a day behind Saudi Arabia and the West. So if in case when we do get there, we end up completing 30 days of fasting, do we still need to make up for that lost day?
السؤال الأخ هم راح يخططون السفر في شهر رمضان في بداية رمضان ولكن لما وصول
you will leave from Saudi Arabia.
No, from UK. We will leave UK during Ramadan.
From UK you will go to India, right?
Yes.
As example, they start in England and they fast 29 days or 30th days. Okay. So if you went to India and you break your siyam because you are traveling, in the end you don't supposed to make siyam for 31 days. But if you are in a country and the Muslim is fasting because they fast after you for 2 days as example, okay, you just hide your fasting because you hide your breaking your fast because Ramadan not more than 30 days. Am I clear?
Yes, understood. Jazakallah khair.
Jazakallah.
And the second question is, which I had was, there's a brother who is a plumber and works in sanitation a lot. So he works in toilets and bathrooms and fixing those things. And he wants to know if he can do his remembrance while he's working in the toilet, fixing things within his heart, if that's permissible, because toilets are one of those places where you're not supposed to remember Allah. So he is asking this question.
هذا عند أخ من أصدقائي يشتغل في مجال الصحي حمامات ومجاري وما شابه ذلك. هل يجوز له أن يذكر الله مع وجود الذكر في أثناء قضاء الحاجة وهو يذكر يقول لي راح يذكر داخل قلبه؟
ذكر الله عز وجل باللسان في مثل المواضع اللي ذكرتها من النجاسات عزكم الله هذا لا يكون. ولكن كما سئل شيخنا الشيخ ناصر الدين الألباني رحمه الله رحمة واسعة، إذا كان الحمام كما هو الحال اليوم كبير مثل حمام المعاقين في بريطانيا عندكم، فيكون المرحاض في مكان ومغسل اليد مكان بعيد، فهنا تستطيع عند المغسل أن تسمي الله عز وجل. أما عند المرحاض عزكم الله لا، فلا يذكر الله عز وجل في هذا الموطن.
But the Shaykh Hafidhahullah answered, dear brother, as for remembering Allah in these places of impurities with your lips and your tongue, then it's impermissible in these places of impurity. But at the same time, the Shaykh mentioned that Shaykh Al-Albani rahimahullah was asked about remembering Allah in places of restrooms or toilets, as you call them, in where they are large. Then the Shaykh said that as you have in your country, in the UK and in the West, in your countries, you have, for example, large toilets, and you have toilets for disability needs and special needs toilets, which are really large. And there is a place which is for relieving oneself, and then there's a place for washing up. So in that area of washing up, you can remember Allah and you can mention Allah's name. And as for the places of najasat or the places of impurity, then a person withholds from remembering Allah in those places.
Understood. Jazakallah khair.
Yeah. رفع اليد ما يشتغل عنده، ولكن السؤال راح يصير الى ان شاء الله. Go ahead, Abu Hanan. I've unmuted yourself.
السلام عليكم.
عليك السلام. ورحمة الله وبركاته. أهلا يا أبا حنان، كيف حالك؟
كيف حالك؟ الحمد لله شيخ، كيف حالكم؟
أهلا وسهلا.
Yes, my question is that can one take a ghusl without a reason? Like for me, sometimes because of my knees or my back, from long sports injuries, I cannot lift my legs. But sometimes, like in the morning, is easy. I'm wondering if it's easier for me to just take a ghusl just to do, but I don't want to do it if it has to be a specific need. To lessen the burden of having to lift my legs and things like that.
إجماع العلماء كما ينقل ابن عبد البر أن الإنسان إذا انغمس في الماء كله فهو على وضوء مع النية، طبعا مع النية. فإذا كنت تغتسل، وهنا أقول تخليل الأصابع، أصابع الرجل واليدين مع الاستنشاق والمضمضة، وأسأل الله لنا ولك القبول وأن يشافيك ويعافيك مما في ظهرك.
So the Shaykh mentioned, Hafidhahullah, that Ibn Abdul Barr, rahimahullah, mentions ijma, consensus from the scholars, that as long as a person is completely submersed in water, and Shaykh said, of course, with in the intention of wudu, then this person's wudu is accepted. And the Shaykh said, I would like to remind the brothers and yourself to do istinshaq and madmada, as you know, brother, I'm not in the thing, but to sucking the water through your nose, and likewise gargling in your mouth, to do this. And as well, not to forget the sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ is going through the fingers of your hand and your toes, going through with a finger through your fingers and your toes. And the Shaykh said he asked Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make it easy upon you, and for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to give you shifa for your back pain.
Jazakumullah khair. Jazakumullah khair.
Wa yakum.
Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I'm not seeing any other raised hands. If the brothers have any other questions.
Then I'd like to, because there is no question now, أود أن أتكلم بأمر مهم، وهو فهم الإسلام. الإسلام هو القرآن والسنة، والإسلام يفهم من فهم أصحاب النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم لكتاب الله وسنة النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم، والثبات على ذلك. هذا هو الدين الذي يجعل الإنسان في نجاة وسلامة، ويعبد الله كما كان عليه النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم وأصحابه. هذا الأمر جدا مهم. لعل البعض يسمع هذا الكلام، ولكن عند التطبيق وعند البحث وعند تفسير الآيات وعند فهم المسائل الفقهية لا ينظر في تفسير كلام الله وبيان الدين إلى فهم الصحابة الكرام. وهذا مطلب يجب أن نسعى إليه، ويجب أن ندندن حوله، ويجب أن نعيد ونكرر أن الدين، الاعتقاد، الفقه، تفسير القرآن يفهم على ما كان عليه أصحاب النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم. نعم.
So the Shaykh Hafidhahullah, he said, as there are no more questions, he'd like to mention a few words regarding understanding Al-Islam. And the Shaykh said, understanding Al-Islam is based upon taking from the Quran and the authentic Sunnah of Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam, and that which his companions were upon. Taking from the Quran, the authentic Sunnah of Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam, and upon the understanding of his companions. So if a person wants to be upon that which is correct, he has to take from these sources, and likewise taking from these sources and being upon firmness in this understanding, being upon firmness upon this understanding, and recognizing that this is the path to success. Taking from this is the path to success. And all of this is well and good. And we know this. But it's when it comes to applying this in your daily lives, you find the people when they have to take from, for example, the tafsir or the understanding or the explanation of the Quran, or to understand the Sunnah of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, you find them not acting upon that which was mentioned in the beginning. Not acting upon that which was mentioned in the beginning. And that is why it is important for us to repeat this over and over again, and to make bayan of it over and over again, so that one may be upon that which is correct in his understanding of Al-Islam.
وهذا هو سبيل النجاة للمسلم. وهذا هو سبيل النجاة للمسلم، لأن التفسير لمعاني الدين من الدين ومن أصول الدين. نعم.
The Shaykh said, this is important because this is the path to success. This is the path to success in being upon Al-Islam. And for him to understand and explain the religion, this is really important, that he is upon that which is correct in his understanding and knowing where to go to find the explanation of the religion.
وهنا تقييد للفهم الصحيح. وهنا تقييد للفهم الصحيح، لأنك تشرب من معين الصحابة، من صفاء الصحابة، وهم تلامذة النبي، وقد استقوا الحق من في النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم.
And Shaykh said, here is a restriction. Here, the Shaykh repeated that here is a restriction. The restriction is what, dear brothers? That you take from these sources. You take from these sources, and the source being the correct understanding of the companions, and the companions, they were the ones who took directly from the lips of Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam.
وهذا جاء بكلام الله تعالى، حيث قال تعالى: السابقون الأولون من المهاجرين والأنصار، بالتنصيص بالأسماء، والذين اتبعوهم بإحسان رضي الله عنهم. إذن اتباع المهاجرين والأنصار دين وسبيل نجاة وأمر من الله، من كلام ربنا جل وعلا.
And Shaykh said the proof for this is in the statement of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The clear proof for this is the statement of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The first, meaning the first and foremost were those from the Muhajirin and Al-Ansar, or Al-Muhajirun and Al-Ansar, the ones who migrated from Mecca to Medina, and the Ansar, the people of Medina. Allah is pleased with them. Allah is pleased with them. So Shaykh Al-Anjaree, Hafidhahullah, he mentioned that this is a clear textual proof from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, mentioning the companions in name. Now.
فلذلك أنصح دائما إذا أردت أن تقرأ كتاب وتريد أن تقيم الكتاب، انظر هل هذا الكتاب يحيلك إلى أقوال الصحابة أم لا، وهل إحالة الكتاب إلى الصحابة بإسناد صحيح أم لا.
So the Shaykh said, I always advise, if you are to weigh or measure a book or to give it a rating, then see if in that book does the writer guide you to the statements of the companions of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and more so, does he guide you to the authentic, those statements which are authentic from the companions of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. This is the right way to measure or rate or weigh a book.
هنا تطبيق حقيقي، التزام حقيقي لما كان عليه أصحاب النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم.
Here you find that you really, in reality, in truth, are you sticking and applying to that which you are upon, in sticking to the ways and understanding of the companions of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam.
وهذا مأخوذ من قول النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم: عليكم بسنتي وسنة الخلفاء الراشدين من بعدي. وقول النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم: على مثل ما أنا عليه اليوم وأصحابي. انظر إلى لفظ النبي اليوم، على مثل ما أنا عليه اليوم وأصحابي. فهذا سبيلنا وهذا طريقنا، الاعتصام بما كان عليه الصحابة من فهم القرآن والسنة.
So the Shaykh said, this is taken from the speech that which the Shaykh gave before. This is taken from the hadith of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, where the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, in meaning, upon you is my sunnah and the sunnah of the rightly guided khulafa. Upon you is my sunnah and the sunnah of the rightly guided khulafa. Likewise, the statement of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, that which I am upon today and my companions. And the Shaykh said, pay attention to the statement of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He said, that which I am upon today, al-yawm, and the companions.
على مثل ما أنا عليه اليوم وأصحابي.
ذكر الحديث
نعم.
في شيء.
نعم.
نعم.
وهذا ما كان عليه الصحابة. فابن مسعود عندما جاء المسجد ورأى من اجتمع بالتسبيح ويعدون بالحصى، قال: هذا أصحاب النبي، يعني بين ظهرانيكم. هنا يقول ابن عباس، هنا يقول ابن مسعود: أي لماذا لم ترجعوا للصحابة في مثل هذه المسائل العبادات.
And the Shaykh said, it further explains when Abdullah, the authentic narration from Abdullah ibn Masud, when he came upon the people gathering in the masjid and they were counting stones or pebbles, small stones or pebbles, he said to them, the first thing he said to them, here are the companions of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. The Shaykh said, meaning, here are the companions of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, that why don't you return back to the companions of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam in your understanding?
للعبادات.
In your understanding, in worshipping Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
هذا والحمد لله رب العالمين.
And the Shaykh wanted to finish off with this speech.
إذا كان أي سؤال حول الكلام اللي ذكرته فليتفضل المتفضل.
If the brothers have any questions regarding what the Shaykh had mentioned right now, as well, go ahead. Brother Yusuf and so. Go ahead, Brother Yusuf. I've unmuted you.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Alaykum
Shaykh, is there any hadith when somebody helps you, we say Jazakallah khair? So is there any hadith replying Jazakallahu khaira wa ahsanul jaza, something like that?
I don't remember any hadith mention ولك الجزاء أو كما قلت. ما أعرف شيء في هذا. لا أذكر شيء بهذا. I don't remember any hadith as you mentioned in your question that khairul jaza, I don't remember any hadith in this word.
Actually, jazakallahu khaira wa ahsanalu jaza. That is the reply.
وأحسن الجزاء also I don't remember something in this word.
Okay. Jazakallah khair, Shaykh.
وجزاك.
Jazakumullah khairan, brothers. As I'm not seeing any more raised hands, we'll wrap it up with that. We'll wrap it up with that. Jazakallah khair, Shaykhna ala ma taqaddam, and we'll link up next week. Bi-idhnillahi ta'ala. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.